Hey everyone, today we're here and we're gonna unclog this really big trash rack. You can see people have done it before and they left the debris up on the platform. We're just gonna scrape all this off, allowing a little bit better flow, and then we will be on our way. Let's unclog this. This is an irrigation ditch coming from the river and eventually leading it to all the sprinkler systems at these farms. Alrighty, we got that one done pretty easily. That was so nice getting it off like that. One of the easiest trash racks I've ever seen to do that. See right here is a little slice valve. And right there's another slice valve. You see it sends it into these irrigation ditches, which lead down to all the individual farms and sprinkler systems. As you guys could see, that was one really awesome culvert design. That trash rack worked perfectly. It slid off easier than any other trash rack design I've ever unclogged. That was amazing. You should build more of them like that. And now the debris up top, I guess they just let it keep collecting and an excavator can get it. The way that trash rack is designed, you saw it wasn't holding up much water. As the water rises, it's supposed to push it up and out of the current, as you saw there. It doesn't get clogged. Most trash racks, they clog. Then the water rises, it spills through the upper bar or over the top of the structure. But that type you saw right there is a bit different. That one, as the water current pushes it against it, it pushes it up to the top of the water, so there's no blockage. And as the water would increase, the blockage is supposed to theoretically get higher and higher. All right, everyone, we got another trash rack with a little bit of debris we're gonna get off it. You can see, just like before, up, and when it collects, an excavator and a truck will take it away. Oh, man. Look at all the plastic bottles. Styrofoam. So much debris in here. More styrofoam. All right, everyone, let me show you what's happening underneath here. So, we got a lot of plastic off that was becoming stuck here. You see, the majority of the blockage was there, but because it's so slow, it's not being forced against the grate. A lot of slow floaters are able to get around. Now, there is no blockage, but if you look here, look at the amount of plastic and junk underneath the trash rack. There is no blockage. There's just a whole bunch of floating stuff next to the culvert pipe, which is slightly underwater. Let me show you what we're looking at. Lots of plastic. It's kind of sad. But you see the rotation, there's a large whirlpool here because the culvert pipe is a little bit underwater. It's not underwater because of any blockage. Across the road, the Slice Gate Dam is just not open all the way. By it not being open all the way, it causes a backup right here in the canal up to more Slice Gates to release it in the farm across the street. If this gate wasn't here and this water was just trickling down that low, there'd be no backup to get it into those other irrigation ditches. You see some of the plastic has come back up from the culvert and is floating in here. I'm sure it'll get collected somewhere because this water isn't leading back to a river. It's leading into smaller and smaller ditches and eventually sprinkler heads. It's got to be collected somewhere or it would clog the system. That is really nice to look at. Now if we walk over here, yeah, you see all the stuff. That culvert, it's blasting pretty heavily, even though you couldn't tell on the other side. Right here is a Slice Gate, sending a limited amount of water over here into this pool, where it's then diverted again. Got a little bit going down here. Look at that awesome giant filter. And we got some water going down here. It's got a little level gauge. And then it goes over here, which there's actually a tiny blockage. Let's get that out of the pipe. That's a tumbleweed that did that. Look at all the water we got flowing just by getting that tumbleweed out of the way. This one tumbleweed got stuck, which is pretty big, and stuff just collected against all the branches. Now there's initially, until that pool right there drops back a few inches, there's a sudden burst. But give it a few minutes, it'll go quickly back to normal. Now I want to show you a little bit on the other side of the road. The ditch over here appears to be dried up, but we're going to go take a look. So that was the trash rack. There is another trash rack on this side. Just gotta wait for a little bit more traffic to pass by. Most of the farming is done for this year. Been seeing them over the past few weeks, harvesting a ton of potatoes. Also, a ton of onions, apples. Look at the amount of tumbleweeds they've been having to pull off of this rack. Unfortunately, it looks like they did it with an excavator that caused a big amount of damage here to the bars. Not really anything wrong here. Yep, you see they're basically done planting for the year. All right, everyone, we're here at another drainage ditch, and we're gonna just remove a bunch of garbage from it. Here's where the water's coming out. That culvert right there is barely dripping. Lots of cattails, which are a really good filter for debris. Take a look at this. We're gonna try to fish out as much of this garbage as we can. See, there's too much water. If that culvert had just a couple inches of air, it would suck it all through and across the road. Here's the rake from someone else upstream clogging it. They lost their rake. Let's remove just a couple of these tumbleweeds, then we're gonna work on getting a good amount of the plastic out. Wow, these trash racks are fun to work with. Look at that big thing of plastic. Couple more bits of plastic out of my reach. Shopping bag. No, that's not a shopping bag. That's a paper Dunkin' Donuts wrapper. This right here looks like a vegetable bag. We're gonna go put this in our pile of debris we're about to create. Pipe down there has a lot of current. This could be a pretty dangerous one if I was to fall in. It's got a lot of current down there, right below the surface. Hey, look at that, a rotten apple. Big piece of styrofoam. And we got some bubble wrap. I think we're better off maybe moving over to this side. Everything's way closer. That's an aloe vera bottle. These containers seem to be melted somehow. Aluminum bottle. Yeah, somehow this stuff is all partially melted. It looks like somebody heated up like gravel and poured it all over the styrofoam. There's holes melted through everything. I'll show it in a bit. Look at that big windshield fluid bottle. Lots of styrofoam. Snapple bottle. More styrofoam. More styrofoam. We're going to keep going until we get the majority of the giant pieces out of here. The small pieces, unfortunately, you can't get out. Wish I had like a butterfly net. That would work really good for this. A full water bottle. Two full water bottles. See how the styrofoam is all melted into these little round pieces? Another melted water bottle. Well, we got the majority of the big stuff out of there. I think I might try to buy a butterfly net. It's kind of sad seeing all this debris that's in the water going to feed our crops. Here's what I was talking about. Every single piece of plastic is severely melted. It's got holes in it. A lot of the water bottles are also melted and shriveled up. Like this one here, every piece of styrofoam is all melted and shriveled up. Now I'm just gonna call this into the local town to be picked up. Hopefully they'd have something better to fish all that out with. The trash rack can't be that tight because it would clog up way too fast. By the looks of it, it was just a really quick burning grass fire. And they're down there to the left, fighting it, spraying it, building a boundary to stop it from going any further. It did say back there, high fire danger today. There they are. Now we're gonna go look across the way where this is going, all right? So, a small portion of this water is somehow getting into the drainage ditch I showed you. I don't see a slice valve, so this ditch might have a pipe going under the road from that really low ditch. That is a possibility, that it has nothing to do with this one. It might be that one over there crossing underneath this one to get over here. And it looks like there's a truck right here. Not to clean it, but it looks like it's about to take maybe water out of the canal to bring to a farm or give to some livestock. That truck was just backing up. I thought he was gonna talk to me for a minute. Nope. That truck is already full of water. You see they're spraying the edge of the road to keep dust down. All right, I'm all clear. Let's walk over here. This is where that culvert is coming out. If it wasn't for this dam right here, that culvert would be out of the water and it would allow all the trash to come through. The force of water being so powerful is what keeps this open. If it was very little, this silt that has accumulated over the years would be there. When this was installed, this pool right here was more than twice as deep. You have a little slice gate here. There's a lot of debris stuck in there too. Look at that, you got a mask. There's all these tiny hundreds of bits of styrofoam all over the place. But the majority of the blockage is natural. That goes into here. And this one looks like it hasn't been used in years. Look at all the dirt buildup in there. Got an entire grassland starting in there. And this is where the water goes afterwards. The reason they add all these little dams, they got to keep the water high so it has a place to flow down to. And you see, it all eventually makes it to equipment like this, these giant sprinklers that pivot right there, or it comes from a well if it's not from the drainage ditch. All right, there's no traffic. I want to take a quick walk over here because I am curious if it actually goes underneath the road. Because I don't know where that water is coming from in that ditch, the really deep one. Look at the amount of tumbleweeds in here. Whole ditch is full of them. They just blew in here. Lots and lots of garbage and debris all around. It appears to be dry as a bone. I don't see any water in here. But maybe this will make more sense. All right, that appears just to be the drainage ditch for the road. It has nothing to do with irrigation. This is irrigation, and yes, I was right. Not about that, but I was right about it coming from the other side of the road. If you look down here where it's very, very green from the water, you do have a little bit of trickling going on down there, and that's what's going underneath the road and far beneath the one we just unclogged. A lot of these drainage ditches and irrigation ditches crisscross under and over each other because it's important to have these elevation drops like this. Then you don't really have to have many pumps pumping it back up to be used. The majority of it is all gravity. So where does this water all come from in the start? Simply, they dam a river. And that's how it all comes to be here. So this is intaking into this ditch and off to farmers' fields. All right, everyone, we just reached the beginning of the line. That canal right there that we've been driving along for miles, unclogging blockage after blockage. We got a couple big ones that I just filmed. There was a bunch of smaller ones too I didn't bother filming, but this is where it comes from. This is one of the major canals that comes from the river when they dam it. And then it's sucked into these tiny, tiny little grates. And then it's off into the tiny drainage canal where it breaks off into even smaller ones, gets sucked up by farm sprinklers, pumps, and there it is off to the sprinkler head to water our crops. And this canal is probably off to thousands of more of those tiny little drainage canals, farm after farm. It's literally going to hundreds and hundreds of miles of farm, over millions of acres of farmland to water. Because this area without water is pretty sandy and dead. Every field you see around here, almost every single tree you see around here has irrigation drippers. Without them, they all die. I have seen a few abandoned farmhouses that you can tell used to be beautiful back in the day, but they're just skeleton trees now since the water is shut off. We caught a train. Look at all that rail it's carrying. Welded together rail, just continuous piece going through every single car. From the front of that train to the very end, it appears every single piece is welded. Well, almost every single piece. And it's flexible enough to go around the corners. That's amazing. Awesome. Now let's keep going around and looking at those irrigation ditches. I just stopped briefly to show this. This is really nice. Everything is shut off for the season. Everything is grown. But once they come and harvest all this corn, they always mow it down and they use the rest of it as cattle feed, the actual plant itself. Take a look at all these tiny siphon tubes. When this thing's full of water, it gets siphoned in there, and it looks like occasionally they come and they move around them. It looks like there's one for every 10. So that looks like it would be periodically moved. And it looks like there's a couple tumbleweeds blocking that little culvert pipe at that passage. Oh, I have to go down and look at that. It might not be what it appears. That might be a blockage because it's a junky, crushed culvert pipe. That's what it kind of looks like to me. Yeah, there are a few pieces of tumbleweed, But the culvert, yes. This culvert is so old, you can see it flaking away. The entire bottom half of the culvert has completely rotted out, allowing sinkholes to start forming. Nothing huge, nothing ever dangerous is going to happen there because the pipe is literally sitting on concrete with a little bit of dirt thrown over it with a concrete seal on both ends so it doesn't erode. It can't do anything other than remove that little bit of soil, although it may clog something further downstream, the sediment. I just stopped here because I want to check out this culvert pipe going underneath the railroad tracks. Wow, I think I just saw a bird fly through it. This is going to be pretty cool to see. Right down there, underneath that bridge, this water is going back to the canal. That water's gushing real fast. Would not want to fall down into that. Look at it go. So much power. And I'm going to show you where that's going. It looks really nice when it's going into the canal. All right, there's the railroad tracks about 200 feet down there. And I think it's very, very pretty when the water splashes down into the much larger canal. That is so beautiful, all that aeration. The water looks so crystal clear here. We just found another train going down the same tracks. It must have been waiting on a siding. It's only been about 10 minutes. Let's see what this guy's carrying. Wow, there's 4 locomotives. 5. I'm thinking it's probably coal. Hey, take a look at that. There's some little puppies right there. They were also waiting for the train. I wonder where they came from. I feel like as soon as I start walking back to the car, they're about to chase. I knew it. Nope. They ran in the opposite direction as soon as I started moving. All right, we've been driving through hundreds and hundreds of acres of apple orchards. It's really nice to see. They're also taking very good care of their trash racks. No blockages around here yet. quick one. That's a lot of apples in front of us. Now that looks like it might be a grain train. It's a very long one. It's on the same track we saw the other ones going at. Very long train. And it looks like we're going to temporarily lose it. Track is turning away from the road. I can no longer see it on camera 1. Camera 2 can still see it a bit. And there's the end of it. Well, everyone, it looks like we're about to travel out into the hay and straw fields where they are not irrigating the state. So as soon as we get out of the area where they're watering, this is what it turns into. It's pretty cool to see the difference as soon as we leave that area. Nothing but hay field after hay field. I hope today's video was interesting, everyone. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. We just had a beautiful sunrise, and we just found this boat here. This was really cool. Looks like they used to be covered in graffiti and they removed it.